An hour ago, one of Dafuk Boom's Discord server users posed a question to him and asked, "Boom, is the series still coming out this week or not?" To which Dafuk Boom replied with a like, which means a positive answer. Recall that earlier, namely at the end of May, Mr. Boom said that the episode was delayed by a week, so this user decided to check with Dafuk Boom whether it is still relevant or not. In addition, Mr. Boom is not in a good state now, rather in a sad state, because he shared with us some problems and worries about the creation of the film Skibidi Toilet. We'll talk about that in more detail in the next video. Many people had a question: how did the Skibidi virus start? Who is behind it? In this video, you will learn the answer to this question and more. Watching the series, you probably had a lot of questions about some of the storylines, and maybe you even wanted certain characters to stay alive. So, have you ever wondered what would happen if Plungerman and Dark Speakerman were alive? What would have happened to them? And most importantly, would the two brothers have been able to change the storyline for the better? What if the secret agent has an evil brother who may be the reason this war started in the first place? And finally, wouldn't you want to know who is behind the project to turn people into agents? Who he is, and why things have gotten out of hand? Thanks to fanmaker Strider, we can get answers to all of these questions. His animations are not only high quality, but also full of hidden details. He's also the official representative of the Dafukbum team for the original episodes, and he just recently released a new video showing what was left behind in episode 78. But before we continue, don't forget to give us a like and subscribe to the channel. And here we go. Of course, the first thing we'll talk about is what would have happened if Plungerman and Dark Speakerman survived in episode 70. As we remember, two important characters died in that episode because of the scientist's Skibidi. Now let us imagine a different outcome of this battle. It all starts with Titan TV Man breaking through the roof and ordering the agents to hurry up. Once everyone is outside, reinforcements arrive in the form of camera helicopters. Everything seems to be going according to plan, but suddenly there is a violent shaking and a massive explosion. Plungerman's camera is disabled. The action then moves to the Cameraman base. One of them shows a bark, probably to calm down his partner, but the other is clearly angry and waving his arms. At this point, Titan TV Man teleports in and reports that the Skibidi Toilet's main headquarters has been destroyed. Immediately afterward, the doctors run to Plungerman's body and take him back to base. Meanwhile, Titan TV Man goes in search of G-Man. Plungerman ends up in the hospital. Whereas in Season 25 of the original Skibidi Toilets, he could not be saved. This version is different. He is successfully revived. But before waking up, he has a frightening dream. A giant mech suit of a scientist and troops of Skibidi Toilets attacking the base. And next to the scientist, a charging Titan Speakerman and Titan Cameraman soon appear. Before he finally came to his senses, the secret agent gave him a tablet, which immediately highlighted some geolocation, where it is now very dangerous, so much so that even a faint siren was heard, and an exclamation mark was burning on the icon. Next, we see a snippet of the broadcast of the fight between the Titans and G-Man in episode 73. And after that, we are shown a bit of Plungerman and Dark Speakerman. Soon, a large Skibidi Toilet plane appears, and one of the laser cannons tries to shoot it down, though unsuccessfully. Plungerman then approaches something like a captive container, and upon opening it, sees Skibidi Toilet. However, a secret agent immediately enters his mind and tells him that it is not necessary to kill him. On the contrary, it is necessary to make him tell all the important information he knows, because this character is not quite as ordinary as he seems. While Skibidi Toilet is just lying there, Dark Speakerman starts to get angry, and Plungerman calms him down. Suddenly, Skibidi Toilet abruptly regains consciousness. At first, he is surprised that the agents didn't even attack him, since he is Skibidi Toilet. When he begins to guess that these agents are clearly unusual, he enters Plungerman's subconscious and begins to tell all the important information he knows. For starters, we learn that his name is Elvis Stone, and he is the owner of one of the largest laboratories where many different experiments were conducted. The main project of this lab was the modernization of humans. That is, all the volunteers who wanted to try themselves as an agent were subjected to many tests and experiments until the scientists were able to find the perfect one. One day, Elvis hired two brothers. One of them was our secret agent, Both brothers had outstanding intellectual abilities, and the two of them did a tremendous amount of work, easily accomplishing all the goals of the laboratory. Later, however, things began to change. William was the name of the secret agent's brother. He worked non-stop without a single break. Thanks to his productivity, he quickly moved up the career ladder. During the entire time he worked, he hardly socialized with anyone. He had no friends. He was always alone and focused solely on his tasks. In contrast, the secret agent was sociable and friendly, easily finding common ground with his colleagues. Despite the fact that he was also an excellent worker, his rank remained only average. As time went on, strange things began to happen. William, who was considered the best employee of the entire laboratory, began to appear rarely at work. And if he did show up, various technologies disappeared from the lab after his visits. When William was almost forgotten, just a year later, Elvis Stone, as always, sat at his desk and worked on the next project. Suddenly, an alarm siren sounded. He went outside and was surprised to see William standing at the head of a huge army. Giant ships were flying over the laboratory, emitting a deafening sound that paralyzed people so much that they lost their memories or died altogether. After this incident, many people died, and Elvis Stone was taken away by William to conduct experiments and extract all possible information from him. After a while, William became the new director of the lab. Since then, he has held the most brilliant scientists captive, forcing them to work for him in order to realize their goals as quickly as possible. They must also find the right people for his terrifying experiments. After this incident, William's brother, the very same secret agent, disappeared without a trace. To this day, no one knows if he is alive, where he is, or what happened to him. However, as we saw earlier, he has penetrated Plungerman's mind, which means that only a few people know of his existence, just like in the original episodes. When Elvis Stone woke up, he found that his head was in the toilet, without any other body parts. Despite this, he remembered everything and kept his mental clarity, and the toilet had merely become his new means of transportation. He also said that he had heard about the appearance of cameramans, speakermen, and TV men. But earlier, he had never seen such an ents and had no idea how they might look like in real life. At the end of his story, he says that the entire alliance must unite to defeat William and rescue all the prisoners from the lab. After all, it is not only in Elvis Stone's own interest, but also in the interest of the entire alliance to end this war as soon as possible. So, we learned a lot from this fan-made story. The name of the agent's creator, his backstory, his motivation, and how it all started. We also learned that the real reason for the war is William. He, being an outstanding employee, earned his trust and then used that to take over the lab and later to try to subjugate the entire world. We also got to see what would have happened if Plungerman and Dark Speakerman had survived the events of episode 70. Hopefully, Dafuk will reveal similar storylines to the ones we've covered today in his original episodes, as well as many others, such as episodes Through the Eyes of the Titans. The only time we were shown this was only in episode 51, where we got to see a fight on behalf of Titan Cameraman. It would be really interesting to know what the other Titans see as well, where they keep going, how they fight, and the like, and all of this is just a small part of the unrevealed storylines that we haven't even considered. Judging by the news of a movie based on the Skibidi Toilet's universe, perhaps we'll only find out the answers to these questions there. After all, Dafuk originally created his series for the sake of a meme and didn't plan any plot, so the very first episodes aren't canon. Also, don't forget that episode 79 will be released very soon with a new batch of storyline reveals. Perhaps that's where we'll learn even more shocking details that will turn our view of the Skibidi Toilet universe upside down. And with you, as always, is Super Cameraman. Good luck, everyone, and goodbye.